Wow, that's embarrassing. It's not what it looks like. just talking to my friend over here. Wow, you know, it has been a minute. It's been a minute since we talked like this, face to face anyway. Obviously, I've been making gaming videos, but I missed quite a few upload days over the summer, as you're probably quite aware. I missed like 2 months of uploads. Things got a little bit hectic in the life of old St. Clair. And I made a promise to you some time ago that if I ever missed an upload day here on this channel, that I would share with you then a terrible truth about myself. Can you hear my upstairs neighbors? Anyway, since we last talked, I have moved across the country. I was previously living in Memphis, Tennessee. I'm now living in beautiful Los Angeles, California. Smog and all, baby. Oh my goodness. Several days where we couldn't go outside because if you inhaled too hard, you would just die. Good to be here. But I want to start today catching up with these terrible truths. I ran a poll on my community post recently. If you want to follow me on socials, at Brock St. Clair on Twitter and Instagram and everything else, that would be super cool. But you guys voted on my community post poll here on YouTube, and you wanted to hear the story of the time that I went to a church dance alone in pursuit of a girl. It's really terrible. Good choice. I don't want to waste too much time. I have my book of truths right here. I'm going to crack it open. Let's get to it, huh? The year is 2012. I'm a junior in high school, and I'm also 16 years old. I looked much like I do now, but a whole lot more acne and a whole lot less of a will to live. Imagine now that you're in my junior year biology class. Sitting in front of me, one of my only friends from my high school experience. This was when I was living in California between 8th grade and my junior year. End of this year is when I moved back to Tennessee. One of my only friends that I made in this time, and we weren't even super close friends, was a guy that sat in front of me in this biology class. For the sake of this story, let's call him Max. So Max sits in front of me and we have jokes back and forth in this bio class every once in a while. And I'm really playing up these jokes because number one, the humor is one of the only ways that I can express myself. And number two, because there's a girl sitting behind me in the biology class who I had an enormous crush on. For the sake of the story, let's call her Alyssa. So Alyssa sits behind me, Max sits in front of me. Alyssa never says a word in this class. And the only words that I say in the class are when I'm called on or if I'm talking to Max. Now, Max didn't know that I had a crush on Alyssa. Again, we weren't like super close friends. It was just kind of like class friends, you know, for the friends that you just see at school and you never really see again. So we weren't at that level where we'd like share like, hey, who you crushing on, huh? If that friend even exists outside of like a Disney Channel original movie. So Max sits in front of me, Alyssa sits behind me. I have this huge crush on this girl. It's so bad that literally, God, I don't even want to talk about this. My crush on this girl is so bad that I would put my feet under my chair. She sits behind me. I put my feet under my chair and I like make up in my head that she was like playing, this is so stupid. I'd make up in my head that she was like playing footsie with me. I would like imagine, literally convincingly imagine that she was like, she was kicking. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I literally like have my feet like back like this, like I'd sit in the chair. I'm at my desk and I'd sit like with my feet back. In my mind, sometimes it'd be like, oh, I think she's like, this is so stupid. Why am I sharing this with you? So almost needless to say, I put this girl up on such a pedestal in my mind. I had a real tendency to do that in high school. Such a pedestal that like she wasn't even a person. Like I couldn't fathomably talk to her. And I was also an enormous dork. If you're an enormous dork, it gets better. I feel a lot better about myself now. It was a tough time though. So anyway, I have this enormous crush on this girl and Max sits in front of me. And I don't know much about Max because again, we're just school friends. And one day, I don't remember exactly how we got there, but it was before class started and we were outside the classroom. We're just talking back and forth and I let slip that I have a huge crush on this girl, Alyssa, that sits behind me. And he says, oh, I know Alyssa. And I said, well, you haven't spoken a single word to her the entire, why haven't you said anything to her? That's so mean. It's not what I said. I was just thinking, it's not what I was thinking. I was just thinking, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. That's pretty much all I thought actually when I went to school at this time. Well, how do you know her? He says, well, we have a lot of mutual friends. I said, cool. And he said, you know, there's actually a dance coming up that I know she's going to be at. And I said, really? And he said, yes. Do you want to go? Now, let me just, I feel like I haven't properly emphasized just how cripplingly uncomfortable I was in this time. Not only with other people, but with myself, the way that I looked, everything about me uncomfortable. So I did not have any interest in going to a dance at all, even if I had a posse of 20 people, much less completely alone. But I was in a point in my life where I was starting to feel especially stuck. You know, you probably have these sort of things where like you'll feel like you're really in a comfort zone for a long time and you got to do something to shake things up, or you might just have to throw yourself off a cliff. You know what I mean? In that moment, I felt some gusto and I was like, you know, yeah, I would like to go to that dance. And he texts me the time, the day, and the address that this dance is going to be at. I'm 16 years old, so I just gotten my license. I'm driving my mom's car and I'm feeling like a free bird. So the day of the dance comes along, get in my mom's car, drive to the address, which is about 30 minutes away. Getting close, I'm obviously nervous. I'm completely alone. And again, I know Max, that's it. Like, I don't know anyone else. I'm completely dependent on this Max character to introduce me to other people at this dance where it's going to be a shit show. So I'm getting nervous. I'm approaching the dance. It's a left turn in. I remember the turn into this parking lot better than anything because I was like peak nervousness right then. As I'm turning into the parking lot, there's a big lit up sign that reads something, Mormon Church. Now, I don't have anything against Mormonism, okay? Let me just say that outright. Nothing against Mormon people. I have many Mormon friends. But you guys are really weird. Maybe I do have something against Mormon. It's at a Mormon church. So I get there and I'm parking my car and I'm thinking to myself in the car, okay, do I really want to do this? Because I'm not stupid. Like, you know, even at 16, I'm thinking chances of this being a disastrous burn in hell failure are 85%. But let me reiterate, I had a time in my life at that point where I was really looking to spice things up, so maybe it was a risk I was willing to take, and that did end up taking the cake. I got out of the car and I started walking towards the gymnasium, open the door, and here I am. I'm also, by the way, enormous. You might notice that you're kind of looking down at me right now, but currently my tripod is standing at 7 feet tall. I'm like a beacon of non-Mormon light that walks into this gymnasium, and I shit you not, every single head in the gym turns and catches eyes with me. And so what can I do but kind of give like a... So I frantically scan the room as I'm like kind of calmly walking in. I'm like, and I find Max. He's in like a circle of friends. Okay, it's like literally a pod. It's like Max and his friends were the city of Troy, and I'm the Greeks. Only instead of a Trojan horse, I have a giant body. I walk up to this little circle, okay, and I say, because I'm desperate, I say, oh, hey, Max. And he says, hey, what's up, man? I'm glad you can make it. And Max left me out to dry. Didn't want anything to do with me. Didn't introduce me to anybody in the circle. Just straight up cast me out of the city. Trojan horse idea totally didn't work. You already know what it is. I'm frantically scanning, once again, looking around. Dear God, let me know someone else at this dance. Nothing. Except a girl named who I knew, I think from my PE class or something like that. So I saw her, give her a wave. She kind of says, as if she knows the pain that I'm about to go through. She kind of gives me this kind of wave back to her friends as well. Completely without anyone there. And then the icing on the cake. What do I do as an anxious teenager but take out my phone, walk to the wall, literally, I'm like leaning against the wall, just kind of, dear God, somebody end my suffering. And so as I'm texting up against the wall, sure enough, here comes Alyssa with her posse of, I suppose, Mormons. Everyone there is Mormon, except for me. I'm the only not Mormon person at the Mormon church dance. Can you believe something like that? Alyssa and her posse, she makes eye contact with me. We've never spoken. Alyssa and I maybe have exchanged like 5 words ever at this point, and the words were like, can I borrow some paper? So it wasn't like we're gonna strike up conversation. Again, she's on this unstoppable pedestal for me anyway. She makes eye contact with me with her posse, and I shit you not, goes like giggles like a goddamn schoolgirl, and they all run. They run away like it's YMCA summer camp. And I'm just standing there. I'm the only not more, again, I have nothing against Mormon people, okay? It was just super weird. So I simply get my phone, I get my things, and I just kind of like meander out the door. I just kind of go, hop back in my mom's car, drive all the way home. And the next Monday in biology class, Max still sitting in front of me, didn't speak a word to him ever again about this incident. I think that we still were sort of friends, but it was never the same. Alyssa, of course, I was already not saying anything to her, certainly not now, didn't say anything to her. And then for the rest of the year, I was just sort of the meat in this Mormon sandwich, and that's the story. They don't always have good endings, do they? And Max and Alyssa, if you're watching this, I don't blame you. you know? But in the future, drop the Mormon card. Like, drop that bomb a little bit earlier. Just being honest, if this is protocol, maybe reevaluate, you know? I don't know what you guys have, if it's a council or something that decides how you approach inviting people to events, but reevaluate that. If you want to see more terrible truths like this, please leave me a like. Also, follow me on social media at Brock St. Clair. That's Instagram, that's Twitter, wherever you can find me. I'm at Brock St. Clair. Subscribe, turn notifications on if you want to see more content from me. And until next time, don't forget to don't go to functions. Don't even go out.